Hi, everyone. This week's podcast episode is special. We're actually releasing the keynote session from the Cannabis Marketing Summit. It's a fireside chat between me and Corvain Cooper. I'm Lisa Buffo, the founder and CEO of the Cannabis Marketing Association. You can find me on social media at LeeBuff on Instagram, at LeeBuff21 on Twitter, and I'm on LinkedIn as well. Please reach out and let me know you're one of our listeners. This keynote session was very special for me. Corvain is a formerly incarcerated person who was serving a life sentence without the chance of parole for cannabis charges. Corvain was released on clemency in 2021 by former President Donald Trump. And since his release last year, Corvain has been working as the brand ambassador at 40 Tons, a Black women-owned premium cannabis clothing and accessories brand in Los Angeles, California. Corvain grew up on the east side of South Central LA. Drawing from his experience navigating the legacy market, he also has a background in apparel, fashion, and brand building. Corvain is an avid public speaker, activist, and advocate, bringing awareness to 40 Tons and the causes that it serves. Please take a note and listen to this keynote. We have the video of it on our YouTube channel as well. Please connect with Corvain and follow his brand 40 Tons. This was a really special conversation, and I'm really looking forward to you listening to it today. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Okay, good morning, everybody. How is everybody today? Did everybody have fun at Tetra Lounge last night? I almost lost my voice, but I haven't, so I'm really glad. Okay, thank you all for being here bright and early. I am admittedly the most excited about this session. It is very special to me, so I'm going to try to keep it cool on stage. But if you haven't met him already, this is Corvain Cooper, my dear friend, the Chief Brand Ambassador of 40 Tons, who I met in 2020, so middle of 2020. Yeah. Cannabis Marketing Association partnered with Last Prisoner Project and did a series of letter writing campaigns. Yeah. So I met Mary Bailey, Last Prisoner Project's executive director, and again, this was like peak pandemic. So we did a series of Zoom calls with our members. Some of you may have been in them, and we just sat on Zoom and wrote letters to those who were currently incarcerated for cannabis. And Mary made a point specifically to tell me about Corvain and to have me write to Corvain and connect with him. At the time, Corvain was serving a life sentence without the chance for parole in a prison in Louisiana. And he's not anymore. He's here on stage, so this is like literally a miracle and so amazing. So it is my absolute pleasure and honor to be here speaking with you. Right. So Corvain, if you could just tell the audience a little bit about your backstory, but specifically your life before prison. Yeah. And then we'll get into that a little bit.
I first want to acknowledge the fact that I want to take y'all to the place of being a person that's in life without the possibility of parole. Some of your family members have turned on you. The friends that you grew up have testified against you in order to get you here to get the life sentence, right? So you're in a dark place, right? You're in Louisiana, you're in one of the worst prisons in the world, and then a letter just comes up under your door. And it says, boom, it says Lisa Buffo, boom, and it's a person you've never met, you don't know, it's just like, wow, you care about me, you care about what's going on with me way in a prison in Louisiana, and your own friends that you grew up with have turned on you. So that's the place where I want to start this at, to take you guys there, because that's where it's really at, because when you have a life sentence, people really, really, really turn on you. They count you out, and they say that, you're dead, basically. Your thing says deceased in a federal prison, you're never going to see the streets again, period. So, I really love the fact that, and I always will be here for you, and anything that you need, I'll always be there, because it's just their letters was touching. I was telling your partner, I had you guys' pictures and stuff on my wall when you guys used to go places and travel. I travel too, because I travel through you guys, so I want to take you guys there first, but I served life without the possibility of parole, and I'm here for a reason, so I have to turn this minus into a plus and really do something with the second chance that I was given. We give out second chance career fairs that we do at 40 tons in order to stop the next Corvain Cooper from being the next Corvain Cooper, right? So luckily we were blessed. We got a media grant with Media Jail, and that can project our message to millions and millions of people, so on our grind and on our journey as 40 tons, we want to help all the next prisoners. Yes, I was a prisoner, but we want to change the T-shirt and get these guys home. Just yesterday, we had her talk to Parker Coleman. That was the day before yesterday. He's serving 60 years on our same conspiracy right now today. So the people that are like getting left behind while the industry is steadily growing and growing and growing and growing, you got Luke Scarmazzo that started the first dispensary in Modesto, and that's like, he's doing 22 years, and you got Edwin Rubies that has a master's degree, and is super smart, and they're all pushed away, and Humberto, they're all pushed away in prison while the industry is steadily blossoming. So at 40 tons, we want to change that, and we want that to stop. We want these people to be home. We want to fight for them. Luckily, we have people like Lisa that reaches out and touches a prisoner's heart. That can change this. A letter can change your heart, and it can just give you more motivation to want to keep fighting and keep going and keep, changing your whole perspective on how you're looking at your time. When I was doing my time, I never accepted that I had a life sentence. Because once you accept it, you see people walking around like zombies in there, so first thing is not to accept it, and just keep your journey going, and you could do anything, because here I am, I'm a miracle right here. So anything that you want to do, you can do.
So, so I'm actually going to read a little bit of the letters. I brought some, but let's just take everybody to that place in time. So you're from LA.
Yeah.
You have two daughters.
2 daughters.
How old were you when you went in, and how old were they?
I was 33 when I went in.
And how old was Clear?
Scotland was 2 and Clear was 5.
Okay.
And turning 6. I was on my way to take her to cheerleading practice, drill team practice, and that's when the feds it was like, whoa. Yeah, it was a thing. Yeah.
And you were an entrepreneur before you went in, right? You had a clothing company.
Yeah, I had a clothing store, and I had my kid's face on the side, like if you follow the story. And I'm big in fashion, so on 40 tons we try to be big on our fashion.
You look great.
Thank you. So I had the clothing store. You're trying to get out the game, but you got to be out the game for 5 years, right? So it's a 5-year statute of limitation in the Fed. So if you're 4 years, like my friend Anthony was 4 years, 9 months, that's not enough. Those extra 5 months, they're going to still give you a whooping for that. The Feds is very, very particular, and they're very, very serious on how the conspiracy is ran and how you can get out the conspiracy. And you could just get in a conspiracy by, Anthony had started a thing called Jump for Joy, and he had got out the game, and he had built up a foundation for obesity kids. And then he just let him borrow some money. So if you just let somebody borrow $6,000, $7,000 to get in the game, or $30,000 to get in the game, you're in the game too, because that money went in the game. So we want to show people that, and we want people to know about the expungements, because it's a big era right now with pill popping and smoking weed and doing all those are prior felonies in the Feds. So if you have a friend, he has 1 felony and he was popping pills, that's 1. You get a pound of weed, that's 2. And then you can just say, hey, I want to make some money, because the market is already pushing back legacy. So now you got caught in a conspiracy. We got Dose now that it's Daniel, it's a lawyer out of Pittsburgh that we're advocating for right now, that just turned himself in May. And he's doing 5 years because he was an attorney selling weed on the side, and he just turned himself in a couple of weeks ago. So it's still going on today. People are still doing time, and we just want people to know that.
So So Corvain asked that we not prepare for this, and we just come up here and speak from the heart, but I did prepare, and he said I can ask him anything. So do you mind telling the story about what got you sent in?
Yeah. So we're selling weed and mailing weed to North Carolina to kind of make the story kind of go a little faster. So because it's a real long story to get to 40 tons of marijuana, obviously. So we're mailing it. We started off with an eighth, too. Me and Anthony started off with an eighth, and then we just kept flipping. So that shows you our hustling ability. So we kept hustling, we kept going until we got to crates. Anthony thought of the crate, and then we started mailing crates of marijuana. So allegedly, yeah. So it kept going, and as time prevailed, everybody split up, and everybody's calling it. I guess we figured that we thought we made enough to get out the game. You're going to start a store, you're going to start whatever business that you wanted to start, but you weren't out the game long enough, right? So then they can still come back and get you. It's that one person that stays in the game and gets caught and brings you down. And in the feds, I don't care how much money you got or how much the lawyer, you can't beat this. You feel me? Because it's a conspiracy. It's the web you can't get out of, because this is your friend and he's going to get on the stand and you guys were doing business, and it's just going to be hard to beat. It's one of the hardest charges to beat, and people are buried in there off this charge. So that's another charge that needs to get changed, because it was really built to bring down the mob, and now they're bringing down people's families with this charge. But yeah, that's basically. So the conspiracy charge is what? The life without parole. Yeah, and the A51 enhancements. So I got caught with a pound of weed in 2011, and I got caught with a bottle of cough syrup because I started selling in California, correct? In California, and I was. So there's medical in California. And I was the campaign for Prop 64, so it got taken off my record, and Prop 47. So both of those priors get taken off your record, but it doesn't get taken off your record in the feds. Mm-hmm. So that's what people need to know. It's only getting taken off your record in the state. The feds don't acknowledge it. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to read it now. Okay, go for it. Okay, so one of the things about sending letters that Mary told us is I didn't know what to say. We were just like, let's do this. I had no idea what to say, and I felt a tremendous amount of, and she just said, talk about your life. Send pictures, talk about your life. And I had been traveling to Puerto Rico. I had been, doing some things during the pandemic, and I felt extremely guilty telling him about my travels and going to the beach and, building this business while he's, spending time in prison. But she assured me and assured us that brings a lot of joy, and to do that and to let them know about what is happening on the outside and to be very honest and forthcoming about your life. So I had printed out some pictures and I sent them to you on the first letter. Yeah. And I don't think you knew it was coming, but I just sent it and told you about what I was doing. So I believe this is the first letter you sent, or returned letter. So Friday, October 23rd, 2020. And I should mention, it also takes some time for these. It's not like regular U.S. mail where it's 2 to 3 business days and then it's there. It's a process. It's got to be. They got to read it. They read it. Yes, they go through it. You can't add like color and things like that. It was very particular. So I'm going to read the first 2 pages. I'm going to try. Okay. Hey, Lisa, just got your letter. We're on another lockdown. The police got stabbed. This place stays on lockdown because of violence. I've been here 2.5 years and have never been out of my cell 1 whole month. This is hard time for real, but God made me strong enough to stand through it. I love the Lakers, and I had asked him if he had been watching the NBA games at the time. But there was a hurricane going on during the game, so the TVs were out, and I missed the final game. But in real life, I've literally been to all of the Laker championships in person. My Uncle Keith took me to the championship at the Forum when Michael Jordan won his first ring against the Lakers. I hope we can work together on 40 tons and make it one of the biggest companies in cannabis. As far as children go, I wish my daughters would stop growing. I want a son once I come home. I always wanted one. Kids are amazing.
I had just turned 30, so he said 30 is a good age if you're down and ready to settle down. Now, if you guys are just having fun, you should wait because being a parent is a lifetime job. I have a text that I talk to many on every day when we're out, and you sent me the number. I can't see this text until something comes up, but it feels good to always have messages. As far as pictures go, I would love to see you. Colorado, Puerto Rico, the whole 9 yards. I try my best to put pictures on Instagram. Keep everyone posted with what's going on. Me and Clear, your daughter, her birthday is coming soon. She will be 15th on November 1st. She was born a few hours by me. I was born on November 2nd. I'm not really big on animals ever since my dog Rocky died when I was young. And then I got bit by a dog near me. Also, I never heard your name Buffo before. Where does it come from? It's beautiful. And then you kept going and just told me all about your life and your daughters. And your daughter, and I wrote in my calendar about both of your upcoming birthdays. Yeah. So she had been turning 15, and the last time you had seen her was when?
Shit, when she was 13, because we've been on lockdown for like 2 years.
Because of COVID?
Yeah, it's the COVID and the violence. The violence is serious too.
So that's how we had initially first started, and then we got into it a little bit. And I wanted to, so before I read the next one, what was it like at that time? Do you remember like October 2020 and what lockdown was like in Louisiana?
Lockdown was really, really rough because you're fighting a clemency. You're trying to write back and forth because you're in the middle of it at the time. I'm at like 146,000 signatures on one of the top runners. So your life is on the line because the only way I can get out is with a clemency, right? And you're
can you explain what clemency is for those who don't know?
For those who don't know, a clemency is like your lottery ticket. That's why we trademarked that at 40 tons, because clemency is better than the lottery. So it's your only way of getting out of prison if you have a life sentence, unless you get a pardon or a clemency. And only the president of the United States can do that. And at the time, the president of the United States is Trump. And at the time, Trump is going through a lot of stuff. So I got a good push and I got a good run, but the person that I'm dependent on is kind of going through some stuff, right? So he's going through a lot of things, and he's in the media a lot. So you're wondering, how is he even going to think about me? And he has all this going on. So you're dependent on that. October came, November came, and BET did a special on me during the Hip Hop Awards, which was called Smoke. So I had a 27-minute segment on there. And
with Nas, right?
With Nas, and Nas executive produced and put that together. And that really, really, really gave me a push. So there, my letters went from like 2 letters a day to like 20 to 30 letters a day, right? So this is still toward the end of his term. And when you're at the end of the term, you
letters to you or letters
just letters from just people in the world, and just everyone writing and everyone saying how they feel and how they feel about the situation after they've physically seen it on the screen, because some people don't know it exists still today, right? So that's why exposure is a must. So when that happened, right after that, my attorney, Patrick McGruer, we made the front page of the New York Times. He had argued with Trump about getting his friends out, but you left Corvain Cooper in there, right? And that was a push. That was on the 29th, but now it's only Trump is going to be in office maybe 20 more days, right? So he's at the end of his term. Is really, 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 really pushing. It's getting towards the end. So your nerves are going to be really, really bad. So on the last night, I got to take him to the last night.
Hold on, because I have your letter from December 31st.
Oh, okay.
So it's right at this point in time. Okay, so this is New Year's Eve.
Okay.
So December 31st, your letter came right on time to start off New Year's Eve. I run a ticket in here, so of course I'm watching the games. This was the NBA games, right?
Yeah, okay. I was the bookie. I still had to hustle.
Okay. yeah. it's just the hustler in me. I love your energy through your letters. It speaks volume. Not only are you beautiful, thank you, Rodolfo is very lucky, but I have seen and met so many people in my life that I know a real one within seconds. We're still on lockdown, so that's why I can't return your text. And I had been trying to text you from when you sent me that number, and I never got anything back, so I knew something was being held up. I pay $30 a month for services on the computer, but on Christmas Eve, they let out 16 cells, and it was a riot over who was next on the computer, and it involved 8 stabbed. This place has to be one of the worst places in the world. I've been here for 3 years and have never been out of my cell to talk to my family for no holidays, period, or birthdays. But somehow, I still find to keep a smile on my face. Anthony runs my page. I've never even been on Instagram. If I did have a phone, I wouldn't even know how to use it. I'm kind of old school when it comes to stuff like that. I love cars. I'm really into the new electric wave, and I want the BMW i8 when I get home. If anybody's got one. And I love living in high rises. I wish I could sit back and look at Instagram, especially being in the cell alone. Which really hit me, because I sit and scroll on Instagram a lot and hate it, because it feels like a time suck and a waste of time and a mental drain. So to hear you say, like, I wish I could do that, woke me up a little bit. And then you said, I meditate in my cell every morning, and you said that there was basically somebody in there that helps you do that. And then we started talking about our birthdays and our signs, because we're both water signs. He's a Scorpio, I'm a Cancer. And you said, I see you were born on the summer solstice. I think more about building one of the biggest brands in this new billion-dollar industry, and then think about being in prison. I want my daughters to be proud to be a Cooper. Thanks for looking this birthday up. I felt it was very close to me. I'm over COVID, and I love how you study things. And I think I sent you like a printout of what your birthday meant.
That was dope.
Crossword puzzles, and I tried to send some like games and things, but I don't think they actually got through to you.
I don't think the games got through, but the main important thing was the breaking down of what the sign meant and what the Scorpio meant. And that was some good things to read during that time. It was dope.
Yeah, so I was trying to keep it a little entertaining and something different. But yeah, and you had talked about, you told me about your uncle who took you to the Lakers games when you were younger, and you said about how you think about him a lot, especially with the game is on. And on my bucket list, I want to sit courtside at the Lakers game next to Jack. Who was Jack? Is that your uncle?
No, Jack Nicholson.
Who?
I want to sit next to Jack Nicholson.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Well, anyone knows Jack Nicholson or has courtside seats, that's still on your bucket list?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe at next year's summit we'll do it there. Okay. But you had also told me about how you had COVID when you were in prison and you were pretty sick.
Yeah.
And they weren't taking care of anybody.
They're not taking care of anyone in there. And not only that, you're stuck in one room where it's constantly moving around. So even when you're out, everybody's going to continue to get it. So then everyone's going to get it because no one's going to be able to leave the building. During the time it was COVID, you couldn't go outside. Even if they unlock the doors, you still only got to be inside. So everybody's just passing it to each other. There's no medicine. There's no way to help you. So it's just like, get over it. You know what I mean? Like it's really a horrible place to be, actually.
And how did you get to Louisiana from California?
Like you start in California. So the bad thing about being kind of like looked at as kind of like a leader or whatever in the prison, that's not the worst thing that you want to be, right? Because if you're looked upon as a leader, then you're the first person to go when something happens because they feel that you have some kind of influence over other people's decisions that they make, and then they move you away from your family. And from Atwater was already a 4-hour drive because that's like near the bay, right?
So that's where you were first.
Yeah, then
and your family's in LA.
Yeah, my family's in LA, but it take them 4 hours just to get to Atwater, and then they ship me to Louisiana.
So now we're at December 31st, 2020.
Yeah.
At the time, at CMA, I don't know if any of you came to our first Future of Cannabis Marketing, TED Style Talks 2021. That was January 19th.
Okay.
We had invited Anthony. Anthony and I had been in touch, and he, wanted to come, and but he couldn't. So tell me what was going on in January.
So now January, this is your countdown. If you're waiting on the clemency and you got life, this is your countdown. So the first day of January, you're seeing what names he's doing. Okay, he's not doing, but now he's doing a push. They're saying, oh, he's going to do a push. It's on the news. You're only watching the news in NPR. That's all you're doing is listening to NPR and watching the news.
That's all they let you listen.
No, that's what's all you want to do if you're waiting on the clemency.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So now you're to the 19th, right? So Trump releases a few names, right? So every hour on the hour when it comes, they're like, oh, you get Kodak Black, you get Lil Wayne, which, I've had run-ins with these people before, and you hear the rappers, and you hear Harry O, and you hear all the names, right? So as hours go by, it's like a bottom ticker at the bottom, but we're on lockdown, so you have to look, you have to scream downstairs, and you have to say, hey, man, do you see my name on the ticker yet? Because they have a ticker that's going across the bottom, but they can see better because the TV is closer to their cell. So they're like, no, we don't see your name. So, but everyone's kind of rooting for me in there, but every 30 minutes to an hour, CNN releases new names on the bottom ticker. My name's still not there. Now it's at 11, it's made it to 11 o'clock at night.
On the 19th.
Yeah, and my name's still not on the ticker. Right? And you're like, damn, this is the last day. He's going to leave office. So the 20th is tomorrow. So he's going to leave office. And I had a push. I've been on TV. Everyone's fighting, so you're looking for the push. And then 11:30 comes. You're not on there. You're just basically saying, like, damn, I got to suit up and say, this is it. I got to do another fight, maybe with another president, or I got to put my fighting shoes back on. So I wake up in the morning, they're doing showers, so you have to put your hand through the tray slot and get handcuffed to go to the shower at a USP prison when you're on lockdown because it's a threat. You're a threat. You're a threat. So you open the door, showers at 6 in the morning. When I look to the left, I see Trump getting on a helicopter, right? So I'm like, damn, it's not like he's going to sign it while he's getting on a helicopter. Right? And then you look to the right, Biden's getting inaugurated in. They're having a full inauguration going on. So you really have to, this is the time where you're like, damn, with the push that I just had, like, you don't even know if your push is going to be that big, right? So some people, I'll never forget a guy from D.C., like, screamed out his cell on the way to the showers, like, no, Corvain, put your head up, man. Like, maybe it's some, like, missed paperwork or something, but, like, man, you're gone. I can feel it, man. Like, you're gone, right? But it's 6:30 in the morning. Like, the president is leaving. Like, what do you mean I'm going? You know what I mean? So we go to the shower.
On the 20th.
Yeah, so you're handcuffed to the shower. Now you come back. When you come back from the shower, you have to handcuff and then boom, now you go in your cell. So now your mental mind has to physically say, because people are doing clemencies at the end of their term. So even if you're going to do another push with Biden, it's when he's leaving. It's not when he's coming in with. So if he does an 8-year term, you have an 8-year time to put in your lottery ticket before it's even going to get signed. So I suit up. I just start making my bed, and I have to get ready for another fight. It's maybe like, I would say from there, maybe 30 to 45 minutes, you hear people screaming and knocking on the thing like, counselors walking, right? So it's like an alert because what is a counselor coming in your building for? We're on a 90-day lockdown. He just had a riot. There's no reason why he's coming in there. It's not like he's checking on you, right? So they said he hit the top tier. So as soon as he hits the top tier,
what does that mean?
The top tier is like, let's say this is the top tier because they got the second floor. So I'm standing on the top tier. and he unlocks the door. And at this point, we just had to put our hands through the tray slots to put handcuffs on to go to the shower. So it's only one way you can unlock the door is when you're feeling unsafe or you're feeling, this never happens in the USP for a counselor to unlock the door and open it when you're on a severe lockdown. And he said, man, you got 5 minutes to pack your shit up, man, you're out of here. So it was just, it's a moment in time that you would never forget. People started knocking on the doors and screaming, and everyone was happy. It was a win for like the whole prison system at that time, and everyone was happy for me. I told everybody to walk by faith, not by sight, you feel me? And that was like what I left in the unit, and it's still in the unit to this day, where it's like, do not let anything blur you. If you even see in the letters, like with the life sentence, with not knowing if I'm coming home, it's still projected that we want 40 tons to be this, and we want 40 tons to be that, and we want to be the biggest company, and we want to chase these goals. And I'm talking to Anthony every day on what we want to do with 40 tons. And to see us, we haven't took a day off since I've been home. When you see 40 tons, you only see us. Here we have no workers, we have no staff. Whatever you've seen us do, that's what we've done with the hard work that we've put in, because we're big on. That's why our thing is called the second chance, because I got a second chance in life, and I just want to do the best with it.
Yeah. So you had said you closed one of your letters and you said, thanks again for everything. Hope I see you soon. I think this is the New Year's one. You said 2021 is my year for freedom and making 40 tons the biggest brand out there, and look into my eyes, a best-selling book, 2021.
Yeah, and we're still working on that. We're looking to my August, hopefully we'll have Look Into My Eyes out, and Media Jail will be promoting it.
So yeah, so he's working on a book, but I just wanted to capture this moment where you thanked me for not doing anything. Hope I see you soon. 2021 is my year for freedom and making 40 tons the biggest brand out there. And that you closed your letter like this, and then you said, P.S. Did you get your free Corvain t-shirt yet? Which I did. But you had that optimism and that foresight after spending. How many years had you been in prison at that point?
9 at that point.
9 years in prison, so almost a decade.
Yeah.
In a U.S. federal prison,
Yeah.
Hours away from your family during a pandemic,
Yeah.
and you closed your letter saying, thank you, this is my year for freedom, and making your brand the biggest one out there. So you were still building your company from prison.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. So I've lost my notes, but that's okay. So let's talk about 40 tons and where you're at now, because so I remember when you got out, Anthony FaceTimed me. We had just finished our event. It was extremely emotional. I started sobbing, breaking down. It was like...
Stopped in Denver. I stopped in Denver we had a layover in Denver flying back.
You did, and I ran to the airport because I think you had... I think you ran out of...
Because we only had like 20-minute layover, 30-minute layover.
It was a 20-minute layover. And if you know the Denver airport, it's huge. So he ran out of security. I ran to the airport. Rodolfo dropped me off. We hugged for like 3 minutes, and then you had to run and catch your flight.
Yeah.
But it was awesome, and we got a picture, and I'll have to share it later. But you haven't... So you got out and started working immediately. The picture you took from the parking lot is in your 40 tons gear at the penitentiary.
Oh, yeah.
I am so impressed by it, because if I had just spent a decade in prison, I would be angry, depressed.
Yeah.
I don't know where I would be mentally, but you amaze me in your resolve and resilience and your ability to be optimistic and just keep working. Like you've been working nonstop. So tell me about what's happened since January 20th, 2021, what your mission is at 40 tons and what you've been building.
It started like you said immediately. Like Anthony, when he came and picked me up, we almost went to jail too that day. Anthony was speeding and we got pulled over. You know what I mean? But okay. Yeah. So Anthony was speeding. Well, first of all, like anybody that kind of like knows me, like I'm kind of big on like, I want to be clean, I want to be this, I want to be that. So before I even want to FaceTime everybody or even see my own kids, I kind of looked like a Wolfman X when because we was just on lockdown in the cell, so I wanted to get a haircut, get cleaned up first before I even FaceTime them. So everyone's calling Anthony's phone like, well, where is he? They said you picked him up. So he's lying to everybody like, oh, I haven't picked him up. I'm in the barber chair. So he's he's lying saying that they haven't picked me up yet. So now we're rushing because we have to go. We're trying to get back, and we're going to Texas. We're going to see Brittany K. Barnett, who was instrumental on me getting out, and so we're going to stop in Dallas, and we're going to fly from Dallas. Patrick McGurl, my attorney's out there, and we're trying to fly back. So he's speeding. So when the police come over to the car, I don't have any ID or nothing. The last thing I want you to ask me is, what's my name and what am I doing? You know what I mean? Because I haven't got permission. In the feds, it's really bad because you can really get a violation in the feds because they're really big on any contact with the police. You have to report it. So he's speeding, I'm looking straight, and then he's, and I'm just like, oh shit, I've been out of jail fucking 1 hour. And I'm about to go back to prison. So, and they send you right in the feds, you go right back to where you just left. So you're going to be the embarrassment of everyone. Like you didn't stay out an hour, so that was a scary moment, but we made it through it. And he got a speeding ticket that I don't know if he paid yet, that I don't know if he has a warrant right now for. But yeah, so we picked him up with the 40 tons outfit on. I already had the 40 tons out. We have a picture of that too in our video upstairs. And we just said, let's just go on a journey and just keep working. And we haven't stopped working since. Like, it's no days off. And we really want to be global and push one of the biggest brands. So in order to do that, you're going to have to put the work in. And that's what we're here to do. And
tell us about the brand and the mission. Like, the 40 Tons name.
It's first of all, the 40 Tons name is a real thing. So October 13th, 2013 is when I went to trial. Me, Evelyn, LaChapelle, and Natalia Wade, if you know their story, they went to trial with me. And it's the 40 Tons conspiracy started when we got found guilty on that day in trial, Charlotte, Mecklenburg, North Carolina, so that you can Google that to see that it's not, we didn't just come up with a name out of this thin air. It's the name of a real case that I had to look on my wall every day and wake up and see this newspaper clipping of sentenced to life for 40 tons of marijuana, drug ringleader or whatever, however they put it. And I always said, I'm going to turn that minus into a plus and change that whole story around.
Yeah. And if you've seen their booth or their video upstairs, tell us about the logo, if you could describe it and the story behind it.
So kind of when you see like, it's the Corvain Cooper going
Anthony,
up and down.
You want to stand up
you got to
and show
kind of stand up a little bit and show the logo.
This is Anthony, yeah,
okay.
in the logo.
So our logo,
on his back.
so when Anthony was designing this, he did a real good job. And it's my past, that's my past when you're looking at it. So it's Corvain Cooper, and that's my past facing that way. And that's what I have to look forward to, and we're breaking the chains of injustice at the same time when we do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's talk about the mission behind the brand and the bigger picture for the audience as far as brands and marketers here. What do you want this audience to know? And what is our duty and responsibility as an industry?
The first thing that I would want people to do is go to 40tons.co, and the prisoner shirts that you see when you go on the Shopify on there, that money goes straight to their books. Right, so we want them to grow with us. We want as big as 40 Tons get, we want them to get big with us, right? So if they're selling, I think Humberto sold the most shirts, right? So 1 month, Humberto made like $800 selling shirts, right? We want, let's say if the shirt costs us $14 to make, and it's $30 on our site, the $16 of the profit goes straight to their books. So every 10 shirts, that's another $160 that's going on their account, on their commissary account, right? So they get to grow with us, and the mission grows, and the people are not forgotten, right? So there's 10 people that we're advocating for now. There'll be more people on the site as well, but we want to keep pushing the mission to first start with them. Yeah, it's cool to build a brand, or it's cool to try to make some money, or it's really no money in the industry anyway right now with all the taxes. But it's cool to do all these things, but to forget the people that that helped start. Just look at Luke Scramazzo was one of the first dispensary owners in Modesto, and then he has to sit in prison while Modesto and everything takes off. So we can't forget about them. So our first core mission is that. Our second core mission is our cannabis career fairs, right? So we want our brand to be built on what are we doing for the person after they get out of prison, right? Can we put them in a market? You might just be good at making the packages. You might just be good at marketing. You might just be good at whatever ancillary thing that you're good at. We want to make sure that we can bring that out of you. And if you don't have the knowledge, we give out scholarships from Oaksterdam, right? So you can win a scholarship when you come to our career fairs. And we're going to come to Denver and do one with all the brands out here. And we're going to go global. We'll be in New Jersey August 13th, in Trenton, New Jersey, with our fourth one. And that's what we want our brand to be built on, so we can have some legs to stand on and not just be another person with a package.
And to your point about the commissary, you had said in one of your letters, you sent me your Western Union address and said there's a lot of campaigns out there saying they're sending money to me, but none of them actually come to me. Here's the direct way to route information. So there is a direct way to get money and resources, but no.
Right, like they had like a lot of, at that time, like by the case getting big and by my name was getting in the community bigger. They had a lot of people that were like stealing money. So that's another thing that we're big on at 40 Tons, because it was like, damn, you raised $6,000, or this person raised $20,000, or this person raised $40,000, and they didn't give you anything. Like, like they raised it on your name and didn't even send you any money on your books. Like, so even at a small level, as we are, we're very small at 40 Tons. We still send money and still bought Parker glasses, and he needed some glasses. They were $1,100 to get him the glasses. But the money that we went out and hustled T-shirts and raised money, that's what he needed. That's what we're going to get you, right? So you have brands that are saying that they're doing that and not doing it, and it was really hurtful to know that was happening.
And I want to talk about Parker Coleman. So can you tell everybody a little bit about Parker and what you're doing for him and what the audience can do as well?
And as far as writing them, it's like you see what he said. He said just even writing them, uplifting them and saying, hi, how you doing? We're out here fighting and you're going to come home one day. Just to receive that when you're sitting in your cell. He's been gone. He's missed his whole 20s. He's a young, good kid, right? That he's maybe 30. We got caught April 2010 to start the conspiracy. So that's 12 years of his life he's already missed. He's facing 60 years. A very smart kid that just got some weed and melted and put it to the airport and sold marijuana. And now his whole life has changed. And as you can see on the phone conversation that you had, he's still keeping his demeanor. He's still humble. He's still fighting, and he's still doing his thing. And he's a part of the 40 Tons conspiracy, because it's a 3-part conspiracy. So he's still really a part of 40 Tons. And when I first got to the unit, when I met Parker, he was on a trial and he had just got found guilty. And so it was even harder for me to pick to go to trial after finding out that he just got found guilty. And I got to go sit in front of the same judge, Judge Conrad. I have to sit in front of the same people, right? And he just went through this when I just came to the unit and met Parker. So me and him bonded, and that was our bond. We had both said, no, it's like we want to keep our rights. I don't want to, I mean, your deal is 22 years. And if you're not taking someone else's life and going in and cooperating against anybody, they want you to sign for 15 to 22 years. To me, that was life. So I decided
for the same things that we're all doing.
For the same things, and then it's even worse when you get the 10 or the 22 years. What makes that even worse is that people are coming home from these bids, these 10 and 15-year bids, and it's no public thing. No one cares about it, because let's just say if I did get 10 years, right? You do get 10 years, it's no push behind it. It's nothing comes with it. You're just another number, and you did 10 years and you came home and you don't even get, luckily, the Last Prisoner Project and other groups that I was dealing with, and, it was paparazzi at the airport or whatever it was to make the case bigger. But the person that's coming home from 10 years, they don't get no push. Yeah.
So we're at about time, but I want to end on the note of what do you want this room to know? What can the industry folks here, marketers, communications professionals, brand owners, what do you wish that they understood better, and what can we do moving forward?
I say moving forward, I think awareness of that this is still going on is very big, so for your company to be aware of what's going on and aware of the things that are taking place, to bring more awareness. If everybody can put aside, like, that's cool because you're going to make money anyway if your company's going to make money. But if everyone can bring more awareness, right, that is going on, and that the prisoners and represent the prisoners more, right? If everyone does it together as a conglomerate, then the prisoners grow, their name grows, the company grows, and then you can help change the narrative of them getting out of prison while the company is making money, right? So that's what I think.
And lastly, how can everyone support 40 Tons? Outside of the t-shirts, what else do you need? Do you need professional services? Do you, what can people offer to help you all take your next step?
I think doing a career fair out here would be good to get with the big brands, and then we can, the big brands, the little brands, the regular brands or whatever, and we do a career fair and hire the people that's been affected by the war on drugs, and really put them in position, whether you just need them to clip the buds, or you just need somebody to post, or whatever it is that you're lacking at your company. I think we can find it, right, if we all work together. So I think that's the biggest thing that we can do, is all work together and figure out what's the niche that we can do together to make the same goal happen.
So is anybody hiring here? Okay, so if you're hiring, let's connect with you and Anthony.
Yeah.
And get folks in touch.
Let's do it. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And when it comes to retail and Denver, we're trying to get to Denver. But if you just see 40 Tons anywhere, just buy it and support it, and know that you're supporting a social impact brand. That's something for a good cause.
Well, Corvain, this has been the pleasure of a lifetime to be able to have this conversation with you on this stage. I am so honored, and this is a miracle in my mind to have this conference after this pandemic, to have this conversation with you. Starting from that, I am speechless. So thank you.
Yeah. And never give up, and just always, if you don't see it yet, and whatever vision you see, just keep going. Like I remember when she was starting this thing, and your vision, and now your vision is coming to life, and it's crazy because like both our visions are coming to life at the same time. So that's what really makes it dope. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Party Like a Marketer. Follow us on Instagram @PartyLikeAMarketer and on our website, thecannabismarketingassociation.com.